Hello, it's Father Michael Nasser here from St. Nicholas in Grand Rapids here for this week's midweek reflection. So, you might remember that back in the fall, I had taken a long bike trip and I was sharing some of the learnings that I got from that trip. And I just realized I found a note that I had forgotten one. Um, and it's probably one of the most important things I learned while on that trip. So, let me give you a little backstory. It was a total goal of riding like 90 some odd miles. Had never ridden that far in my life, didn't really plan it out well, and I get on the trail late on day one. So I'm riding along and it's going really great, but I'm getting kind of tired towards the end of the day. And then I'm realizing like there weren't a lot of places to stop. I knew I'd be stopping at some place, and the place where I was hoping to get to was, I want to say, a good 40, 45 miles up the trail. Um, but because of my late start, I was going pretty fast for a while, so I got tired a lot quicker. Yeah, then I realized, like, as the sun started to set and it started to get a little bit cold, that, and my legs were starting to get really tired, that I probably wasn't going to make it all the way to the place where I knew I could find a place to stay. So there I was, stopped in a little town. Every 10 or 15 miles, you'd stop in a little town, looking at the map, trying to figure out what do I do. Don't think I'm going to make it all the way to my first stop. And I start calling the hotels to find out that they're all sold out. So now what do I do? I'm stuck in this town with hardly the strength to go another mile, let alone, I think 15 I had to go at that point. Starting to get dark, getting darker every minute. And now I even have no place to go because all the hotels are full. And I knew what I needed to do, but I really struggled to just put a call out and ask for help. And I think that's what a lot of us are very hesitant to do. We don't like to ask for help. We feel like we're burdening people, or we shouldn't need help, or we think it's some kind of failure, all kind of reasons why. But I think we need to all combat that. We need to combat it with one very important principle, and that is that God always gives us everything we need. Here we are, just a week and a half from Christmas, something like that. And I'm hearing a lot of confessions, as a lot of priests are this time of year. Um, and the counsel I'm giving more often than anything else is God gives us everything we need. And it's true. But we get in bad places when we think that it's not true. And if He's giving us everything we need, sometimes there are people around us that will help if we ask, if they just know. And sometimes say, well, we shouldn't have to ask. Why shouldn't we? If God is providing what we need because we need it, and He gives us the ability to ask, and He made us to be in communion with each other, why should we not have to ask? So I did. There I was, starting to get dark out, starting to get cold, muscles cramping up. And I said, all right, who can I call? And thankfully, there were parishioners not too far away, about I think 10 miles away, maybe a little bit more, lived where I was stopped in that little town, and I said, help. Told him where I was, and a very kind parishioner, David, and his family said, well, I'll come get you and we can stay with us. And I did that. Another parishioner who has a restaurant in the area, she said, oh, come over, we're going to feed you. And honestly, the time with them was one of the highlights of the trip. They're parishioners that live, a good more than an hour away from the church. I don't get up there all that often to see them. I see them after church. But, with COVID and all that, there's no coffee hour, so I don't really get to talk with everybody a lot. So it was wonderful. God has given us each other for each other. And if we don't ask for help from each other, it's like saying to Him, like He's not helping. He is. We just have to ask. So, my encouragement to all of you, having learned that lesson and still practicing it all the time, is we all need to practice learning the lesson that God is giving us everything we need. And sometimes we do have to ask for it, and that's okay, because it's just taking advantage and receiving the gifts He's trying to give us through each other. So I hope that's an encouragement to you to do the same. I hope we can all work at realizing that God is always giving us everything we need. Everything about our faith is the assurance that everything we need, including the solution to our death and everything before that and after that is what he's given us. He gives it freely. And I encourage all of us to really focus on that, especially as we approach Christmas, and meditate on the beauty of the coming of the Savior who comes to save us and provide everything we need. So God bless you. As always, if you found that helpful, please share it with friends on social media or via email, however you do that. God bless you, and we'll see you in next week's reflection.